Good morning, students. Today we continue with our lesson 6. In the previous part we studied, I told you, there are two parts in lesson 6. The first one deals with the reformation, and second one deals with the enlightenment. So, for your better understanding, I have split this lesson into two parts. One is the reformation, which we have already completed, and then another one is enlightenment, which we are going to see today. Just a short summary of what we saw in the previous section. So in the previous section we mainly dealt with what all changes that took place in religion, in India. We studied about how the evolution of Hinduism from Vedic religion, and how this Vedic religion had different branches. Okay, the change in Vedic religion, so it had different branches, and each branch had its own founder, or the one who propagates the idea, and how he is trying to give reason to one's own faith. So here we have faith and reason, and we also have another way, that is bhakti. Okay, right. Now this, even though in India we see that there were remarkable things about the different concept of faith, reason, or the very many branches that we had from Vedic religion, but still some of the elements they remained. One of the element is caste, and we also saw how this caste system plays a very destructive role in our growth. And then we slowly studied about Islamism. So in Islamism, how the progress was taking place, how the change was taking place. They had two sects, Shia and then Sunni, and how one group was accepting the descendants of Muhammad, and another group was not willing to give undue importance to the individual members. Okay, how this leads to clash, and then how from these two sects we have different branches, like the Mu'tazila, okay, so who advocate the science, okay, and then the reasonable way of practicing one's own faith. And then we have another group which is just opposite, which simply which is very fanatic, okay, and then Sufi kind of bhakti bhakti movement, and how they were in clash with each other, and how we have new ideas emerging from these clashes, and so on. And then we went to study about the Europe. How in Europe there was a great change that took place in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church once was ruling and controlling the whole of Europe. It was controlling every aspect, science, politics, language, and so on. Then what happened after the Renaissance? We have still the influence of Renaissance that is shown in the transformation of the religion, changes in the religion, right? Even those priests and bishops who are part of the Christianity, Catholic Church, still they wanted to have some kind of change, change in this religion. Okay, right. So this is how we see how changes are taking place, and how Martin Luther played a very important role in breaking the church into two. And then how from there church learned its mistake, and so on. Okay, now from there we move on to a very important section part, that is enlightenment. So all these three, the Renaissance, and then the Reformation, and then the enlightenment, they are all closely related to each other. Okay, right. Now this enlightenment, it is actually an epoch and a period in which people think that reason and science and enterprise could help them progress in life, and take them from ignorance to knowledge. In the previous section we saw how Christianity was controlling almost whole of Europe. They actually limited the thinking of the people. They never allowed people to think differently. Now what happened? Now after the invention of the printing machine, the knowledge is just vast. Knowledge got exploded, and people began reading the books. People began thinking, and they said, only when we give importance to reason, only when we give importance to science, And only when we give importance to technology, then we can progress in life. Otherwise, we'll simply be in ignorance, we'll simply be in the superstitious mentality, they say. So they say, but this was only possible if science was not forced to bow before any power or authority. Science is good, but science should not bow down any authority. That's very, very important. We see, how the how Galileo, in the previous lesson on Renaissance, how Galileo was forced to stop publishing his books because church wasn't happy. Church advocated science, but church always wanted science to go hand in hand with its own teaching, its own scripture, and how that really obstructs progress. Okay, this is exactly what we see here. So the reason, science and enterprise, it will be only possible only if science was not forced to bow before any power or authority. So people decided that their actions on the basis of reason, only if the social system was not dominated and controlled by a central authority. Here, central authority means they speak about the authority of Pope, authority of the Church. This is exactly what we see here. So, what happens? These ideas of the importance of reason, importance of science, the importance of science not bowing before the central authority Church, these ideas spread across Europe during. This is what we call as Enlightenment. These ideas of reason, these ideas of science, they spread across the Europe. This is what we call as Enlightenment. So they were so powerful that they inspired the American War of Independence and the French Revolution. So we'll study them in the next chapters, how the Americans, they started, how these ideas of freedom, how these ideas of reason really kindled the Americans to sought independence from British. America was a colony of England, and French was actually controlled by the big elite class. Elite, we call them as royals. Elite class. Even St. Eugene was a St. Eugene, our founder, our school patron. St. Eugene belonged to this elite class. But what happened? He had a change of heart. He said everybody should be equal. Okay, so these ideas, we see that they create a kind of equality. So this French Revolution created equality. This American War of Independence gave them the independence. All these were possible because of reason, science. People were open to think. People were open to accept the scientific technologies, the new discoveries from science and technology, and so on. Right. So these things, they influenced human society even today in the modern age. Even today, we are influenced by reason. We are influenced by science. That's the reason why we have new discoveries every now and then. People are really able to explore the universe. People are able to send rockets to Mars. People are able to send rocket to the moon. They want to explore there, and they want to further expand our control in the solar system. So this is what we find. So here, mostly in the Enlightenment that took place in the 1800s, it's all started from these French philosophers. They played a very, very important role. One among them is whom we see here in the picture, Voltaire. Where is Voltaire? Okay, so Martin Luther. There is a picture of Voltaire. Okay, so he is the one who advocated that we should think and not bow before the authority. Okay, so he played a very, very important role in making people to think, in making people to question. Okay, so these French philosophers played a very important role in developing the ideas of Enlightenment. The most prominent among them were Voltaire. We saw them, we saw him, and then Diderot. So Voltaire wrote volumes and volumes on how human being is important, how everybody is important, equality, how that one has to think for himself, right? And then Diderot, he translated the whole of encyclopedia. Okay, so he translated the whole of the encyclopedia in French, that people began reading them. Okay, and then equally important was Scottish philosophers David Hume and then Adam Smith, who is considered to be the father of economics, and in Germany, this man Immanuel Kant. Very, very, very important. We'll study about Immanuel Kant as we follow. So the chief vehicle for spreading the Enlightenment ideas at that time was the encyclopedia. We saw him how he edited, how he translated, and then this was known to the people. Okay, now we'll move on to different concepts of the Enlightenment. The first one is the concept of progress. Progress means we call as development. Okay, so every institution should have a progress. Our school should have a progress. You see, last year we never had any school website and so on. But this year, because it's a need that we should have something so that our students are profited, then we created the website. It's a progress. So progress comes in many forms. Okay, so how this progress was conceived during the Enlightenment season, Enlightenment time period, is what we are going to see. So the Enlightenment thinkers believed the world progresses with passage of time. As time goes on, the world progresses. Okay, that's a true progress. As time goes on, the world should develop. Okay, so they say the present is better than past, and humans will use science, reason, and enterprise to ensure great progress in future. They said, okay, no, we learn from the past. Okay, we make the present bit better than the past. And then what happens? We work in the present so that we could achieve something in the future. Okay, so that's exactly what we see. The present is better than the past, and humans will use science, reason, and enterprise to ensure greater progress in future. So here, by progress, they meant that humans would use science and technology to exercise greater control over the nature. It is something dangerous. Okay, at the end of this lesson we will see what are the disadvantages of the criticism of the Enlightenment. This is one of the criticism, that humans would use all their technology, all their science and reason, even to extend the greater control over the nature. Of course we extended greater control over the nature, we think we did, but what happens? Nature is revolting against us now. We have a number of floods, the whole ice cap in the Antarctica, they are melting, and the sea level is rising, and then the global temperature is slowly rising. Okay, so we thought we could control over the nature by science. Of course we are doing it, but science has got its own way of revolting back, coming back. And Immanuel Kant, he talked about progress. What is the meaning of progress? He says the meaning of progress was not that humans will be more contented and happy, because contentedness and happiness are possible in any era. He says the meaning of progress is not that it makes you happy. So we have got a website for the school, and then it doesn't mean that we are happy. No, you can be happy at any time. Even last year also you were happy. The previous year also you were happy, and next year also you are going to be happy. So happiness and contentedness happen in every year. It's normal thing. But what is a true progress? Progress is not simply being happy, but true happiness and contentedness for him is a parameter of progress. Was growth in human freedom and multiplicity of choices. For him, the true progress is not simply being happy. You can be happy at any time. But the concept of true progress for him is your freedom, human freedom. You should be free. You should be able to free to think and choose for yourself. That's what we call the multiplicity of choices. If there is freedom, then there should be choices. Okay, we are not bound by any laws. We are not bound by any kind of social structure. We are a free human beings. Okay, we have got laws before us, but those laws should never ever interfere with our own personal life. They are a way in which we try to live in harmony. Laws, okay, these laws and regulations, they should help us to live in harmony. It doesn't mean that they should interfere with my own personal life. That's exactly what Immanuel Kant says. Okay, so for him the true progress is growth in human freedom and the multiplicity of multiplicity of choices. The modern age is more advanced because humans enjoy more freedom than ever before, and because they have more lifestyle choices. Okay, so we see in the previous section, church was controlling into every aspect of human life. Church was literally dictating what you must eat, what you must speak, and what you must wear. Okay, when I say church was saying what you must speak, what you must wear, and what you must eat, it's sounding a bell. Exactly what is happening right now. People are telling you what to eat, and the government is telling you what to wear, and the government is telling you whom to marry. Okay, now we are see, at the time when these things were happening in Europe, okay, the Enlightenment, we were already kind of an open society. Okay, but what happened, slowly we are going towards the closure, and Europe is waking up, you see here, right? So this is exactly what it should make you. You are the future, and you are supposed to you are supposed to talk about human freedom, and you are supposed to talk about choices. We are eligible to make our own choices. No one should make you choose this. No one should make you eat only this, or no one should make you to wear only this, or no one should dictate you where to go and where not to go. No, you have got your own freedom. That's very, very important. Okay, right. Now if we have freedom, then we think. Okay, thinking is what we mean by the age of reason. So reason means we think and reason out. Okay, so reason means we think and then we decide to make choices. Okay, sorry, I will just write clearly. So reason means we think, then we decide, decide, and then what we do, we make choices, we choose. All this is what we mean by reason. All these constitute reason. Okay, the age of reason. So naturally Enlightenment is an age of reason, because we give importance to science and we give importance to reason. We think. Science without thinking is not a science at all. Okay, so these two are closely interconnected, and science and thinking, they give birth to technology. Okay, so the Enlightenment thinkers believed that human decisions were gradually being based on rational thought rather than superstitious. In the beginning, we saw that religion was deciding. Religion never gave any freedom to people to think. So what happened? People simply believed that whatever the religious leaders are saying is true, and all the religious leaders were simply, they were superstitious in their thought. Okay, and they made people to believe. Superstitious means something that is not real, that is not really verified. It's not a verified. Okay, it's not real. It's not a verified fact. Superstition. Okay, so what happened now? It is an age of reason. No, Enlightenment is an age of reason. Why? Because people began thinking. Their thinking was based on rational thought rather than superstition, religion, or the direction of central authority. People thought for themselves. You must think for yourself. Okay, no, you should never allow anyone to think for others. Just because someone is asking you to go and then kill somebody, you cannot go. You cannot do that. You must think why he is speaking, why he is saying that. Okay, that is what we mean by reason. So people, they felt reason helps humans to ask question and investigate any authority, whether an individual or an institution. Very, very important. If you don't exercise this faculty of reason, we all have got this faculty of reason, thinking. We can think. If we do not exercise our thinking, if we do not exercise our faculty of reason, then what happens? We will never be able to question others. We'll simply listen to the central authority, and then we'll just do what they are asking us. Which means, if we are just going to do what other people are asking, then there is no point of living. No, we are just like a stone only. You take a stone and then you throw. The same way, people just make use of you and then just do whatever they want through you. Okay, so you must think. It's very important. So reason also helps human to live a principled and comfortable life. In India, we should really ask question whether we are living in a peaceful and comfortable life. We are all really afraid, no? What will happen today, tomorrow? What will happen this evening? When PM is going to appear before the uh, news channels, we are all worried what he is going to say. Okay, see, as people of the free thought, we should be able to challenge what we think is not correct. So challenging is not that you should make riot. No, you should use violence. No, we are not talking about violence. No, talking about violence. Violence is not going to solve anything. We, in a friendly way, we enter into a dialogue. Dialogue is very, very important. So reason makes you to dialogue, to talk, to discuss. That is a true sign of democracy. We discuss. If government is coming out with a new law, okay, and you think that the law is something bit doubtful, it is going to endanger your human personal life. So what do? You enter into a dialogue, you clarify, you change if possible. Okay, unless you exercise this reason, you will never be able to have a dialogue, you will never be able to enter into a dialogue. Okay, so that is why the driving force of enlightenment was to awaken, to wake up, awaken and strengthen people's trust in the power of reason. So the main aim of the enlightenment was to awaken in people the strength of the power of thinking. In India, mostly nobody is thinking for themselves. They simply accept what others are telling. That must change. Otherwise, we will still be going back. Already we are going back. We will go behind. We will go behind as other countries. They go forward. Okay, as a contemporary French thinker, Baron Holbach observed, we must instill courage in humans, make them trust their own intelligence, and awaken their thirst for the truth so that they can learn to take decisions on the basis of their experience and not be influenced by the false or misleading notions of others. This you must memorize this. Very, 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 very important. He says, no, what he says that we should have the courage and then we should trust our own intelligence, that what I think is correct, and that thinking should not be influenced by others. Okay, and then we should awaken in us the thirst for the truth, what is really needed, the truth, so that we can learn to take decision, we can learn to make decision. Only when you think, then you make decision. Okay, right, so you make decision based on your experience, not somebody else's experience. You look at your own life, you make decision based on your life experiences. Just because your friend is telling that so and so is bad, you should not come to conclusion. You must critically observe what that person is doing. If he is really bad, then you come to a conclusion. Just because somebody else is saying, you should never ever come to the conclusion. That's very, very dangerous. That's exactly what is happening in our country. Okay, right. So should not be influenced by the false and misleading notions. Notions means thoughts. Okay, thoughts of others. Okay, so with that we complete the first section, the concept of progress. And the concept of progress comes along with the thinking that we call as reason, age of reason. Okay, in the next section we will study about science and then science versus religion. Okay, so thank you.